Hey, Zach, I was interested in who you thought would be potential candidates for Coach of the Year in the NFL. Who do you think are the top 3 or so, and who would you give it to as if it was your choice? As a biased Dolphins fan, I like that you recognize that. I think Brian Flores should be top 5, maybe not the winner, though. Thanks for the great content. P.S. A W stands for William. I just go by my middle name, Tyler. So W. Tyler is William Tyler. Interesting. I like that name. Sounds British. I don't know why. It just seems British to me. So first of all, you have to recognize Brian Flores has done a wonderful job in Miami. I think you have to do what he's done with a bad roster in Miami. And people were like, the Dolphins are not going to win a game. People literally, the narrative at the beginning of the year was, this team is so bad, they can't win a game this year. And because of coaching and because they've made, their team has gotten better throughout the year with coaching and guys being in the right spot and following assignments. The Dolphins have won a couple games this year, and that's got to be impressive. Like, okay, the Dolphins have the right guy. Now, that's not Coach of the Year worthy, though. You won 3 games, maybe 4 by the end of the year. That's not, Brian Flores isn't the Coach of the Year. And William didn't say that he should be either. Now, to me, Coach of the Year in the NFL comes down to 2 coaches. Either John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, or Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. John Harbaugh with the Ravens has done a phenomenal job. The team is 11-2. And to me, what's so cool is not just the fact that he's a good coach and the culture, yada, yada, and the fact that he's winning again with a new group of players like he won years ago. To me, what's cool is that John Harbaugh had vision to embrace Lamar Jackson and said, this kid's special. And he saw what Lamar Jackson could become and gave the okay to build an offense around his skill set. To me, that's awesome. They went against the grain. They did something different with Lamar Jackson that's not really ever been done before by running the ball with their quarterback a lot, using play action. They have 3 tight ends. Sometimes they have many, like 4 guys in the backfield. It's pretty impressive, and they're doing it differently than other teams have. And to me, that's really cool. And the vision of John Harbaugh to believe in Lamar Jackson when a lot of other people didn't is really cool to me. That deserves respect. I didn't even believe in Lamar Jackson at times. I was critical of him. I was wrong. I was stupid. John Harbaugh saw something I didn't see, other people didn't see. You got to recognize that's awesome. John Harbaugh's done a phenomenal job. Now, to me, though, the Coach of the Year in the NFL is Mike Tomlin. It's funny, they're in the same division even. Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach. I know I've been critical of him in the past. I can't recall exactly what I said, but I know at some point I've been critical of Mike Tomlin. This is the year that changed my outlook from, he's good to I have a new reverence for Mike Tomlin. He's phenomenal. I respect what he's done this year so much. The start of the year, at the beginning of the year, the Steelers starting quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, got hurt. He's out for the year. And so Mason Rudolph became the starter. He was a 3rd-round pick a couple years ago. Everybody believes Mason Rudolph is the next guy, so we're like, okay, great. We can find out how good is Mason Rudolph. Really, this is his chance to kind of grab Pittsburgh by the horn and say, this is my city. I'm here. I've arrived. And he didn't. He really played pretty mediocre and not great. But the Steelers, despite their having a middle to mediocre quarterback, found themselves in the playoff hunt. And week 12, really week 11 mid-game, but week 12, they went with a new starting quarterback, Devlin Hodges. And to me, his name's Duck Hodges because he has a duck call story in the past. Look it up. It's amazing. The coaching aspect here with Mike Tomlin is the guts to bench the guy who is your franchise, the guy that Mason Rudolph, the guy that everybody believes is your next franchise quarterback, to bench Mason Rudolph for an undrafted rookie free agent Duck Hodges, to have the guts to do that and then win and do well, that's cool to me. That's a good coaching job. And then you got to also acknowledge, man, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had so many injuries this year. A lot of starters have been injured, hurt. Receiver Juju Smith-Schuster out. Running back James Conner out. Linemen, defensive ends, defensive backs, linebackers, players everywhere for the Steelers have been injured and out at parts of this year. I said defensive ends. I meant defensive backs. Excuse me. And yet, despite all the injuries, multiple a week, many starters throughout different parts of the year gone. Massive holes in their roster on paper. Despite that, The Steelers right now are 8-5. They're in the playoff hunt right now. If the playoffs started today, they would actually be the 6th seed in the AFC playoff race, in the AFC playoffs just in general. And not to mention, you also have to acknowledge Mike Tomlin has dealt with crap this year. They had an incident where they got into a fight with the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett hit Mason Rudolph over the head with a helmet. They had problems. It wasn't great. And the way that Mike Tomlin handled that chaos and then the other chaos with injuries and the quarterback situation and this and that, Mike Tomlin's ability to handle drama and chaos and still win games and keep the team focused through all of that is so impressive to me. And that is why he deserves a massive, massive commendation and respect. To me, if people have doubted Mike Tomlin in the past, you can no longer do it again. Mike Tomlin right now is the NFL Coach of the Year. He's going to finish Coach of the Year to me, no matter what happens. I don't think he'll even make the playoffs. I still would give him Coach of the Year. It's so impressive what he's done and what he's overcome and the way he's managed and handled chaos. Mike Tomlin, to me, is a 2019 NFL Coach of the Year, and it's not really that close. Even if he doesn't make the playoffs, I still give it to him for the job he's done in Pittsburgh.